Health and safety's always been about the personal piece, and it's been about the relationship, and the closer the relationships we have within our business, the better the business we are.
My name's Moni Hogg and I'm a safety differently specialist. Really had an idea that it would be great to see how you could run learning teams in a cultural context and how we could use the Safety 2 approaches in conjunction with a cultural competency lens.
We are a relatively large post-harvest and orchard management business located in the sunny Bay of Plenty, New Zealand. So we pack about 16 million trays of kiwi fruit for the Zespri brand, and then with the avocado side of our business, we pack about 500,000 export trays. The project presented to us was a project where we incorporate the views of our RSE workers from a health and safety perspective. The feedback I've got from my health and safety team and my operational team is that we learnt out of our RSCs in particular certain cultural differences that will help us in the future on how we handle health and safety. From that perspective, I think the project was very beneficial for DMS.
Leaderbrand's a farming business, mostly involved in vegetables, salads, that type of thing. Quite a diverse business, employing 500 people, I suppose, on a permanent basis. I think the project itself was kind of eye-opening. I really liked the approach that it was very personal. It was about getting their views back into us.
The REC scheme is the recognised seasonal employer scheme, and about 16,000 workers from islands such as Vanuatu, Samoa, Tonga come to New Zealand during the peak season, both in horticulture and viticulture, to support the New Zealand teams in creating the production requirements in the industry. We ran what's called learning teams, which are kind of collaborative sessions with the RSC workers in particular, in such a way that we could learn more from the work teams about what makes work difficult, what makes their work successful, and how the organisations could improve and make better work for everybody.
The feedback I was getting was good because it was real. It wasn't all the feedback I wanted to hear. Most of what we talked about was the relationships we were having between our managers and our teams. That's the bit that you've got to unlock if you want to be successful, and it gave me a real insight into how we're performing, not just what our outcomes were. So I thought it was really good. I would certainly recommend it anyway.
Never knew what a learning team was until we started. Helps us understand that there is a chance for us to voice our concern.
It's a big privilege for me as a Nivan to be part of the learning team. I've been traveling for 5 to 6 seasons now, but I've never saw that.
With the whole safety differently or the learning teams approach, it's more about involving the workers as opposed to, I guess, managers telling them how to do their work. It's opened our eyes to inquiring more about how best they're going to be able to work, which increases productivity but also gets better safety results as well.
We did focus on the RSE workers because we knew that from ACC statistics that they spend about $15 million within the horticulture industry just because of that manual nature of the work, and about a third of the workforce are from the islands as part of the RSE schemes.
We've seen overrepresentation in that space, and so it's about finding those better ways to do things, and it's about trialling things, it's about working with people. That way it has better connection, you can gain trust from the ground up, and by gaining trust from the ground up, you can gain better outcomes. Traditionally, there's been a lot of top-down approaches taken, and we know they haven't succeeded. By flipping that on its head and gaining that trust from the ground up and taking those cultural considerations in place, this has proven to be a really successful outcome for this project.
The Safety 2 approach has come from the premise that the work teams at the coalface doing the work every day are in fact experts in that work, and they really know and understand what the work pressures are, how everyone's working together, and what sort of things would actually improve the way that the work flows, how they could improve relationships and teamwork, and obviously, and especially in this context, how they could improve communication.
One of the things that really came through is that we need to make them feel safe to tell us stuff.
When the meeting started, I thought maybe this is a setup for us, but then as the meeting goes through, I understand that it's not about setting anybody up, it's helping us workers voice our concern and giving our ideas to help managers and supervisors know more about us workers, understand how we feel, and trying to build another bridge of success.
They really appreciated what we say to them. It helped us to give us a motivation that we can speak out more freely.
So one aspect of the project is we put together a steering group. We had essentially a Pacific-led project, and they were able to give us advice the whole way about what would work in terms of building cultural safety in the learning sessions.
It's really important to understand that because of their transition to New Zealand, they have a different way of thinking and understanding, and usually it has a hierarchical influence, and so we have to understand that that's the reason why sometimes that shuts down their communication lines.
We went to the initial meeting and it was like, oh my God, what the hell are we in for here? But after doing the cultural awareness training session, it's been a very valuable process. It's an understanding why they do what they do has been actually quite powerful for me on a professional and personal level.
It is much more easier for them to understand us when they go through our culture, because our culture is not really like here, but for them to understanding our culture and understanding us is the most important thing, what we want.
For them to actually open up to us, speak in confidence and let us hear their thoughts was the first part of the challenge broken down for us. And then for my managers to be able to sit in and hear some of the stuff we probably knew, but then to hear it from them that we can now take away and put into practice is going to help us.
The concept of VAR is really important. It's a relational concept. It actually opens up that relational, what we call our sacred space, to allow for a good, respectful VAR to exist. And that needs to be led from the top, from the managers, the supervisors, and that. You'll find that the communication after that will flow. So it's a bit of a sharing of respect for both sides.
I think one thing that came out of the learning team's experiment for us was learning about the additional skills that some of our workers have, and we can certainly tap into that to help our production.
We're already in discussions in terms of how we're going to prepare ourselves for 2024 with some of the learnings we've already got, asking the RSCs to provide us with a spokes group, a small team that we can work with quite closely, frequently, every week on week, day on day.
Our supervisors and team leaders, they have come away and really thought about how they're communicating with their teams and have already changed some things just in 2 weeks, making sure that the communication is really good around training. Our supervisors take their time. We try and limit the confusion, really make things clear and simple.
The workers are the people that have the best answers, and I know that the more you engage them, the more you learn, the more they want to be part of the solution. And if they're part of the solution, then it works. If I write a procedure for how to drive a forklift, I've never driven a forklift in my life, so what is the sense in doing that? Whereas if I talk to the forklift guys and they come up with a process that works, then I know it's going to be more effective.
I just want to encourage the others. Learning team is one of the best things I've gone through it, because it helps us to communicate with our supervisors, our managers, and it also helps us to bring out the thoughts, hidden thoughts that we've been hiding. It makes us to speak freely.
We are proud of who we are. We're proud of how we work with our RSC team. We get excited to see them back every year. But there's more we can do because they are such a big part of who we are, not only as DMS but as an industry as well. If we can break down those barriers and increase that collaboration between us, we're both on a winning streak then.
They don't just want to come and work, they actually want to be part of making the place run better and safer. So we kind of, and we can do more around that by engaging with them earlier, which is something we've really got to try and do.
The key to this project was the ability to set people up for success. So when you set people up for success, that means you set their job up to go well. And when your job goes well, then good health and safety is an outcome. A big thank you has to go out to Horticulture New Zealand for being brave and bold for taking this project on. It's not every organisation in New Zealand who wants to do things like that. They saw a problem and they wanted to solve it. They'll see the benefits in the future from doing it.
It's been a privilege to be able to facilitate the learning teams. The work teams absolutely love the learning teams. They find that they really get heard, and it's an opportunity for them to put recommendations forward in that safe environment. And times, honestly, you really feel like a weight's perhaps been lifted from them. And we were able to understand from a bigger perspective some of the challenges that are being faced in the horticulture industry and provide some improvements going forward.
The work done to understand the way people are, where they've come from, what makes them tick, really helps build that relationship. And the whole safety side is about relationship. What makes us safe is when people do their jobs in a better way and they're willing to ask, they're willing to question stuff, not just rush ahead and do it. And to me, the only way to do that is by developing it from people up.